Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Two Brothers channel. I'm one brother.
I'm the second brother. Welcome, everybody. And we have with us a special guest, which is...
My name is Zari, and I'm happy to be here. And thank you for having me.
Fantastic. I know you guys were expecting Rike, but Rike...
So I'm replacing somebody.
No, it's not replacing. It's just a wonderful guest to have with us today. And we have a special episode as always. So back to you, Mr. Phil.
Thank you, Mr. Kaleye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Zari has been on a journey with us for many years, and you get to know Zari as we go along. Today's topic is quite a powerful one. Today's topic is getting versus becoming. Getting versus becoming. You see, we live in a world where everybody is all about getting. I want to get this, get this, get this. So you get the guy, you get the girl, you get the house, you get a car, you get a job, you get the money, you get everything, then you get out of here. So it's all about getting. And what most people fail to realize is that it is about becoming as well. That is where becoming is where the real power is. Like one of our mentors, Jim Rohn, says, he says, don't ask what you're getting at the job. Ask yourself, what am I becoming?
Yes.
Ooh, deep.
Yes.
What am I becoming? Whatever stage you are in life, ask yourself, what am I becoming? You see, everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. However, they go on the quest of getting, thinking that getting, I'll get the money, I'll get the girl. Soon as I get that car, soon as I marry that girl, I will be happy. They do that and they find that they're not happy. Now, let me quickly give you the short answer, then we'll build on that. You see, when they're getting, why they're not happy is that what fulfills happiness is not on that journey of getting. What actually fulfills that, because when you're getting on the outside, you're getting on the outside. What actually fulfills that happiness is the journey on the inside. So no matter how far you go on the journey of the outside, it can never fulfill the journey on the inside. Now, the issue is like this. It's like a man that is very hungry. And I was sharing this with Zari the other day. Starving. What does that man need? He needs food. But guess what? The guy doesn't, this is how people act. It's like going to get a picture of food and staring at it and expecting this picture of food to satiate the hunger. So this picture of food is not, so he goes and photocopy another one. So now he's got two. But he's still hungry. And he's looking at the picture. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how many pictures can he photocopy? 1 million, 2 million to satisfy that hunger? Can it ever work?
No.
So it is with people trying to get the money, trying to get the promotion. I'm not saying any of those is bad. I'm just saying that it will not feed the hunger of happiness. It will not feed what is required inside. So guess what? What do you need to feel what that hunger? You need real food. You need 3-dimension food. You don't need 2-dimension food. So again, the happiness that you require, that everybody's searching for, trying to get, can never be fulfilled by getting. It can only be fulfilled by becoming. I hope I'm making sense. What are your thoughts, Mr. Clay?
Wow. There's a lot to unpack there, Mr. Phil. I love the example of food, looking at the pictures. One of the things that you said, if you're going for getting, that is what you will experience. You know, sometimes we put the cart before the horse, rather than the horse before the cart. Because we've been told getting, getting, getting. One thing that you forgot to mention, that you didn't mention while you were mentioning some good stuff there. Get the car, get the house, get the girl, and get out of here. But before you get out of here, most people get cancer, they get diabetes, they get
It's not funny, but carry on.
they get divorced. You know, they get some really negative things in their getting as well. But the reality of it is, like you said with the pictures, you getting the picture of the food is not like the same as eating the food. So if you're eating, your experience is different to getting. You know, and that is the power of your mindset, your focus, the experience that you're going for. Are you going for the experience of getting, or are you going for the experience of being? You know, so is where both, not neither is wrong. You know, I'm becoming to sound like like a really deep.
You're becoming a sage.
That's right. That's right. Guru.
Sadhguru.
Guru.
Sadhguru.
Why not? Why not? Carry on, Mr. Clay.
It's not wrong, but it's your experience. That's because that's what you've asked the universe for. Are you asking to get something, or are you asking to be fulfilled? You know. Back to you, Mr. Phil.
Thank you. And one of the things that you said there was something that's actually deep that you said there. I'm going to bring that up in a second. But one of the things that you said there is that you said, if you go for getting, forget.
Wow.
Yes, forgetting. That's much that. Yeah.
Zari, over to you.
You actually dovetailed me right there. You
Please
stole my thunder.
No, sorry. No, there's still many thunder there.
I know, you stole my thunder. And the thing is, it's like, forgetting. Life is not for getting.
Wow.
Life is for giving. Now, you cannot give what you do not have. So when we realize who we are and the within is what we give to ourselves that we give out. So the house, the girl, and all that ain't wrong in the correct context for you. And I think that's what makes the big difference. So the getting is all the erroneous zones. There's not enough to go around. If you don't struggle, you don't get anything. Pain and suffering are part of the journey. All that stuff, that's what people are all doing. But when you get to a point in your life where you know something, you realize why you came here. Why you came here. You came to express yourself. You know, I've tried this experiment where you push a tube of toothpaste and you get a piece. The paste comes out. It's too much, so you try to put it back in. It's near impossible. So we've come here to express, not suppress, not repress or depress, but to express ourselves. So becoming really is a choice. Getting is a choice. Depends on which one really hits you the most. Depends on where you're at the present. Back to you, Mr. Phil.
Thank you, Zari. See, one of the reasons why I wanted us to treat this topic is because, you see, a lot of people are frustrated. A lot of people are lost. A lot of people are not getting the results they want out of life. In the UK, in the US, Nigeria, everywhere in the world. And they wonder why. And the reason is because they're spending more time getting than becoming. Because in getting, there's efforting in trying to achieve and get this and get that. Forgetting that life is like I was saying, it's like a coin. There are two sides to the coin.
Mm-hmm.
There's the third dimension. Okay, in two sides of it, there's to the coin. Okay, let me deal with the coin first. Calm down, Mr. Phil. I'm going before myself. Let me deal with the coin first. Two sides of the coin, the head and the tail.
Mm-hmm.
If a coin doesn't have the head, it just has the tail, guess what it is? The counterfeit coin.
Yes, yes.
If it has the tail and it doesn't have the head, guess what it is? It's still the counterfeit.
Yes.
So you have to have both heads and tails for it to be
legal tender.
To be a legal
tender.
Same with human beings. Your external journey has to be balanced by your internal journey.
Yes.
For you to have a full experience.
Yes.
So your external journey, that's the free dimension. That's your physical dimension. But guess what? You have a conscious dimension as well. That's just as important. And a lot of people forget to develop that conscious dimension. So that when we're talking about personal development, we're saying that read, get this information. What we're saying is that develop your conscious dimension, because if all you develop is the physical dimension, guess what? That's when you will now see people lacking.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, but when you talk to her, you're disappointed because she's empty. He's got lots of money, but you can't stand him. Give you an example. Bill Gates. I use that guy now because before now, I didn't really pay attention to Bill Gates a lot. People that knew him in the industry probably knew him before that. But now, with what is happening, can you imagine the depth of this satisfaction you have to once in your life have the title of the world's richest man? But you're so empty and you're so disturbed,
vacuous,
just that you want to control the whole world. That is pointing to a deep, deep deficiency. That is pointing to a deep, deep dissatisfaction. Let me give you the other side of it. There's another man called Sadhguru. Sadhguru, hardly nobody calls him the richest man in the world. But honestly, that guy is wealthier than Bill Gates 1,000,000 times. And I'll tell you why.
Any day.
Because Sadhguru has over 1 million people voluntarily giving their lives to him to say, look, I'm a doctor, but I will serve your cause. Look, I can guarantee you, if Bill Gates walks to anyone and says, can you serve me? The first thing the person will say, pay me.
Yeah.
To Bill Gates, they will say, you have to pay me. Meanwhile, to Sadhguru, they'll be like, you know what? Even my bank account is just to use. Who's wealthier, Mr. Clay?
Wow, Sadhguru. Sadhguru, without a doubt. Because what you were saying that, people focus on the outside and neglect the inside. And I would take it a step further, if you permit me.
Please.
To say that, if the inside doesn't drive the outside, then the outside doesn't exist for long.
It does not hold its integrity. Mr. Clay, carry on.
Exactly. It doesn't, it's not on solid ground. Because I was talking to, everywhere I look, you can see that people become first on the inside before it's then expressed on the outside. It's not the other way around. It's an inside journey first.
Woo!
And once you establish yourself on the inside and you're convinced, not anybody else, yourself on the inside, then it starts manifesting on the outside. And that manifestation is not temporal. Is you can be shaken and you'll still be standing. But if you focus on just getting the watch, getting the car, getting the woman, getting the house, getting cancer, getting all the stuff you get, and the inside journey is not there, then you get out of here, like Mr. Phil says. But if the inside journey is there, there will be that peace to enjoy what's being manifested. And there will be that peace to maintain what's being manifested. So it's just like somebody winning the lottery, for example. They get a lot of things on the outside, but because they haven't developed themselves on the inside, they don't get to keep the money. And like you always say, I remember when we were younger, when we were teenagers, you said, if somebody gave you £1 million, that you give it to your mentor. I remember when you said that time. And I was looking at you like, give it to who? What the heck is he talking about? That is answered prayers, and he's telling me he's gonna give it to his mentor. It's
Because you see, even at that point, Mr. Clay, please get ready because I'm gonna quickly pass to you again. Even at that point, I instinctively knew that at that stage I hadn't developed enough that if that sort of money came into my hand, that I would not destroy myself with it. So I knew that I had to give it to my mentor, who would be an objective voice and a corrective influence. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. Obviously, now, if that money comes into my hand, the last person I will give it to is that mentor.
Things have changed a lot since then, because now you've grown,
Thank you.
And most people don't have that self-awareness. They just get the money and spend the money. And wherever it lies, and they invite more demons to themselves than they can cope with, and it does more harm than good, as we've seen over the years. So let me hand over to Mr. Zari, because I can see him just wringing his hand like, come on, let me add this.
It's wonderful what you guys have said. It's actually it's on the money, literally. It's on point. My take on it is like a tree, a real tree. When the seed is put into the soil, for starters, it's not buried; it's being planted. When you bury something, you don't want to, something's dead, but it's planted. And it takes time. I think there's a particular palm somewhere in Asia where you water it for quite a few years and nothing really happens. And I think it's about 3 years or so. You water it and nothing comes up. So all that 3 years, and then after the 3 years, it starts to grow rapidly upwards. And what they found out is all that time that nothing was happening was the seed was going down to look for a source of water. So the root system was doing the work, going down until it hit an aquifer. Okay, now this is where our sustenance will come from. So at that time now, it now went up and growing very quickly. So it didn't grow quickly. It grew quickly at the time that it was supposed to. But what it was doing all that time was it was going down. And also the other thing about buildings, like Canary Wharf. Canary Wharf is as tall as it is, its foundation is as deep. So any tall building that is on shallow ground, it won't stand for long. Any wind will just take it away. So it's remember that picture we used to have of the iceberg, the hidden depths, the big massive part underneath and above water. It's this tiny little thing. Isn't that what took down brought down the Titanic.
Yeah.
So the hidden depths is the reality of who we are is that iceberg that you know yourself to be. And you're confident at being that, which means people who are confident, who know who they are, who are becoming, do not have the need to brag, do not have the need to showboat, or have the need to, measure their bits. No time for that, because they know where I don't want to say the word. they're coming from their sense of their set of gravity. And they're still working on it, because the thing is, the perfection or the improvement of a thing is that we are being aware of what we're becoming. So the things we don't need anymore get taken away because it gets replaced with something better. So
Mr.
it's the
Zari,
journey
let
of
me
that.
add something to what you're saying, so that you can make it even expansive more.
Yeah.
Would you say someone is born like that? Over to you.
Oh, no. I think we're born with the capacity and the ability, and everything has been embedded in us. But then remember, we've come into forgetfulness. So that forgetfulness is working for us to now, when we realize, we begin to remember, this is where it gets very delicious.
Okay.
So the people who are playing that game don't get that delicious meal.
Where I want you
Back to you, Mr. Phil.
No, where I want you to highlight for us now is that that's a becoming, that remembering, does it require effort? Does it require dedication? Does it require a journey? Over to you.
Now, it doesn't require effort, because you'd be efforting. Otherwise, you're going against the grain. It's going with. You're going with. I think go row your boat gently down the stream. So the journey is we're going with the journey. And the thing is, it's us realizing we are going to be, it's for me personally, I'm beginning to realize who I am. I am realizing who I am.
Okay, so do you do that by just sitting, just living, doing nothing?
No. I call it's called do the work. I call it do the work. Do the work is realization. There's certain things you're gonna cut out, things that don't work anymore. Just scrutinizing yourself, and that doesn't work for me anymore. So some part this journey is hard. I would say hard because it's painful at times, because you're cutting things away that don't fit anymore. So what you believe, what you are putting into your psyche, what you are, it's movable parts, things you have to do and undo. Am I answering the question properly?
Yes, Mr. Claire,
I'm trying not to use too many big words.
Of course.
You're doing great. You're doing great. I can still understand you, so that's a plus. I think what you're saying there is so powerful, because when you first mentioned the fact that we are all like the iceberg.
Yeah.
And then the way we discover what's underneath the water is by polishing ourselves, and polishing and working on ourselves, rediscovering ourselves, going on a journey of discovery. Because when you're on that journey, what I've found is that then you find out that you're not focused on, improving your life and improving your circumstance and improving your reality. It doesn't take you focusing on others and beating them down so you can shine. Which is where most people go.
Like, that's fear.
We're holding this room together. I have to, it's just like, Mr. Phil, you and I, we can be like, there's something we want, so we're competing to get that thing, right? And the way to get it is I need to make you look bad so I can look good, so I can get it. That's our natural animalistic.
That's nurture, actually. That's nurture. So that's nurture, because we have to learn that. Whereas nature if you look at nature, nature is not struggling against itself. Nature is not fighting or competing with itself. Nature is working with its cooperative components working together. So that's that teamwork again.
Which is beautiful, right? Because
yeah,
nature is showing you that no, it takes all of us.
Everybody
it takes all
takes
three
a part.
of us.
Yes.
Yes. we all play a part.
Yes.
So it's not about destroying each other. It's all about us collaborating together.
Yes.
Because it's like that polishing of yourselves. That is what you're doing. You're shaping yourself so that you can come out and be a better.
The better, your highest version, the highest version of yourself at any one time. At any one time.
That would make that collaboration work better.
Yes. Yes.
Like I meant, like our remote mentor Jim used to say, you work on yourself.
Yes.
So I promise to work on myself so I can be better for you.
Yes.
No, you go do the work so you can be better for me. No. I work on myself so I can be better for you.
He actually took it. You actually took it to the next level. He actually saying, work on yourself so that you can take care of yourself for me.
Yeah. Ooh. It's like intelligent self-interest, right?
Thank you. Work on yourself so that you can take care of yourself for me.
For me.
And I promise that I will work on myself so that I can take care of myself for you.
For you.
That is the saying. Now
that's the one. That's the one. And this is where, from where the journey we've been having so far, from the network marketing, from the meetings, all that was the polishing, because we had to admit some things weren't working anymore. So we were now ready to submit to something better. And then we began to become.
Ooh.
So it's the admitting it ain't working anymore. It worked at one time. And that's the awareness. This is not working anymore. Drop it. And then you find out, hang on, you are submitted to something better. And the becoming starts to, and that's how it's like wow. I'm very big on but it's very deep. And when you're in this thing, you find it's going round. It's a circular thing. So we're spinning around, we're circling, but we're not spinning so much that we don't know where we are.
Okay.
But we're circling around it.
Sorry, Mr. Zari, very quickly.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about there is admit, submit,
become.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, for the practical areas, very quickly, one of the things that we keep reminding you guys is that the practical way that you change your life is to admit if it's not working right.
Yes.
It's not feeling right. It's not feeling right for a reason. That is so if you're suffering right now, if you're struggling, if everything is going wrong, that is not to say that there's a witch after you. That is not to say the universe bringing to your attention that something needs to change. And you need to admit first that, I'm struggling.
Yes.
You need to admit first that, I things are going wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what you now do is you now submit. After you've admitted that, you now submit to the tools. So when we say read, when we say listen, what are you reading? You're reading to personal development or empowering information. Because you've already admitted that things ain't working right.
Yeah. And that's a big part. That's a big part of the admittance.
Okay. So now you're submitting to the tools that will help you on the journey of becoming.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It's just like a sportsman, right? You went for trials.
An athlete.
You went for trials. You didn't make it because you have to admit that, okay, something's not right here. I need to change. Now you now go into training. to make yourself better. And then now you come back. And then now you're winning the races. I mean, does that work in your...
Actually, in philosophy, they use Stoic philosophy. They use athletes a lot because remember that's the Romans. So the Olympics.
Okay.
That's where it is. So they watch the athlete and how they get their bodies together. They get their mindsets together. That's what makes the difference between the guy who comes in last and the guy who comes in at the front.
Okay.
You know. So
now I just want to bring this all around now back to the fact that we're talking about getting versus becoming. There are two components to every human being. There's the getting, there's the third dimension, and there's the conscious dimension. You need to you need to equip your conscious dimension, just like Mr. Claire said, equally, because whatever you have on the outside in the physical dimension is sustained by what is in the conscious dimension. It's sustained by the invisible. So if you just get on the outside and you're not developing the conscious dimension, the information, the developing your reading habits, your exposure to information. If you're not doing that, you're not working on yourself, then you're like a tree, like Mr. Zari is saying, you're like a tree who basically has leaves on the outside,
but no roots. Nothing.
You don't see the roots of the tree, like Mr. Zari is saying. You don't see the roots of the tree. So a lot of people are going around life with big, massive leaves, but tiny roots, tiny.
And the smallest wind comes and...
Thank you!
Or no roots. Absolutely, if no roots or even pretend roots.
They don't even pretend roots. Mr. Claire, they don't even realize that they need to have roots.
Pretend roots.
and that's the thing. And I think that's what we're seeing in the world, where people are top heavy. They're top heavy and nothing is underpinning them.
And that is what we call, the manifestation of that is what we call fake.
And it's not, like we always said, your network is your net worth. So your root doesn't just depend on you. It depends on the team that you're working with. It depends on the team that you're building.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Clay.
I think it was I think it's Wolf Goethe. I think Goethe, he said, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. You are the sum total of the people you run with.
Okay.
And that's part of the work. That's part of the work.
Okay.
And when you're building, sorry.
No, Mr. Clay, please.
And when you're building this thing for real, it's not a sprint. Because you're not looking, nobody's checking up on you. Nobody's calling Mr. Zari saying, Mr. Zari, have you read today? Okay, what did you read? Tell me what you read. Okay.
That's what schooling does. That's what schooling does. That's what education.
What did you do? Did you know? And I find myself doing that sometimes, and I'm thinking, because some people, when I'm talking to them, and they are just coming out with stuff that is showing me that they're not doing the basics.
No.
And I tell them, go and read. Please go and read. I don't want to be rude, but please go and read, And when they read, then they come back to me and say, you know what? Everything that I needed was in that book. The book was talking to me. And I say, okay, fantastic. Now please read more. Because
read more, like drink some more water, hydrate.
Yeah.
I remember
the person is thirsty, parching, and you have to beg them to drink.
And I remember when my mentor used to tell me that at the beginning on this journey, because I used to call him up to complain about stuff, I used to, want his time, and I used to come, and he's telling me, are you reading? And I'll be like, yeah, you know, we're reading.
Clearly, it's showing you're not.
Forget that, you know, I read, don't get me wrong, but this thing is more than reading right now because, you know, and you'll be like, okay, you need to go and read more, you know, and and you know, it takes me back to those stages where you need to develop your new habits because this thing is not a sprint. It's not something that happens overnight. So you need to develop new thoughts, new habits that will then change your reality. So, but the thoughts need to be changing. You need to change from the inside out. And the more you invest on it, the more you read like your life depends on it, because it does. The more
Does, yeah.
you listen to things like your life depends on it, it does. The more
Yeah.
you associate with successful people, like your life depends on it, because it does.
Yes.
You know, and you know, you can make it a long, lengthy process, or you can make it a shorter process for yourself. The more you apply yourself to these things, because when you then start changing, you know, I have people reading books that I've recommended to them, and they say, "Do you know what? You've been a good student because I can see a lot of these things in this book that you're doing it." That is the biggest compliment somebody
So
can pay.
it's it about example. It's about
Yes.
example, the way we're expressing ourselves in the world. So if you meet a getter and you are a becomer, it's very glaring, is it not? So the whole point is if you're getting all of the stuff, but nothing for it to back upon. In fact, for me, I think the inner work is more than the outer work.
Most definitely.
Because the inner work in itself is influencing the outer work. But the inner work, there's like no bragging, no this, no that. In fact, the whole point is when you realize who you are for the giving. It's what we are giving out into the world because it's coming from the core of us. There's no demands. I've done this for you, do this back to me. None of that, because from where you are operating from is inexhaustible. It can never end.
Now, very quickly, let me quickly interject a story here. A story of, for those people that think this sounds like this is going to take a long time.
No, it don't.
A lot of people will think, oh, this sounds like it's going to take a long time. Now, the story about the dog and an elephant. And the dog obviously got pregnant, had a litter of dogs. However, the elephant too got pregnant at the same time. Dog, 3 months, boom, litter. 7 or 8 dogs came out. Went to the elephant. You're still pregnant. The elephant said, yes, I am still pregnant. 6 months later, so a few months later, dog had another litter of dogs. Beautiful. And went to the elephant. I've had like 24 kids already. Where's your children? Elephant said, I'm still pregnant. It takes a while. Anyway, cut long story short, dog basically came back about 6 times to the elephant. I said, you're still pregnant. You still not even giving birth to this. Then finally, I think it takes 18 months for elephants.
Yes.
I think it takes 18 months. Finally, wow. Elephant finally gave birth to one calf. This is why it's very important that you never compare yourself to anybody else. Even dog has started having children of themselves. But anyway, when the elephant calf finally came out, and the dog came to visit the elephant, and he saw the calf, it went, wow. One of my puppies, not even.
Wow. The foot bottom.
18 to 22 months.
Thank you. 22 months, yeah? Yeah. 22 months, yeah? Wow. Okay, 22 months. So that is like nearly 2 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, guess what, Mr. Kaleye? Elephant now said, you see, I appreciate the fact that you've got like
your litter of puppies, plenty.
36 puppies.
Yeah, that's for you.
By one calf, when it's walking in its majesty, see, people stop
and
to
look. Yes.
Wow.
People stop and look at the majesty of my one calf. Now, let me ask you that are watching now. A litter of dog run past you and an elephant walks past. Who would you look at?
There you go.
Another caveat, though, could I share on that one? That's a wonderful analogy with the elephant. Now, because elephants are not they're individual, but they choose to coexist in herds.
The collective. Yeah.
Now, when a baby is born, all of the females,
yes,
they are part owners and part co-parents. So the fathers, they stay on the outside
to protect,
and the moms and the mothers go in to make sure this child. So if that child was caught, I saw a documentary where the baby fell into a hole, and every single female tried. That child was all of theirs, and they got the child out, the calf out of there, whereas the males just stood at the outside to make sure that nobody comes in, because obviously the young one is in a hole, all the predators are now, food, so they stood right there, and then the females did all they had to do and got this baby out. So yes, it takes 2 years. What you've taken 2 years to, you don't just let go and just let it go. You protect. So your network is your net worth. So the work, so when you work, and the thing is, if you work on something for that long, and a person also who learns to let things go. It's a very integral part of becoming, letting go. It's an integral part of letting go, because when you let go, you become more. And nothing being lost by letting things go. It's what is going to be added to you, something you're going to remember, something that's going to replace that thing. Letting go is one of the biggest attributes.
That's another topic entirely.
I know. Because getters, hold on to stuff.
That could be a topic we will look. That sounds like a topic. The power of letting go.
Letting go. Yes. Because getters don't let go. Getters never. They hang on. What half of this stuff, and they'll die going.
The power of letting go.
Wow.
Let's hand up, gentlemen.
So I just wanted to.
Please,
I just wanted to say that becoming takes time.
It takes time.
Getting is just, getting it. But when you becoming, it takes you becoming that. And when your focus is on becoming, nobody has to tell you what you have to do, because you know you're focusing on becoming.
And I find becoming more joyful. It's more joyful. It's more satisfying than getting. In fact, after a while, you don't want to get anything anymore. You don't need stuff anymore.
I'm out.
Okay.
That's Sadhguru right there.
Of course. So anyway, Sadhguru for those
that's the black poet.
I think. Sorry,
that's the black poet right there.
The black poet boy. That's who I am. Yeah.
Sadhguru, for those that don't know who he is spelled Sadhguru.
Yeah, Sadhguru.
So seek him out. He's one of the wisest men I've ever had the privilege of listening to. He's all over YouTube. Thank God of the. Just type Sadhguru, Sadhguru.
Yeah.
You will not be disappointed. On that note, this is me signing off. Did you guys want to say anything else?
Peace and love.
All I can say is thank you for having me. It's been enjoyable hour or so. And I wish it could go longer, but as we know, we have to curtail our time. But wonderful, wonderful conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On that note, don't forget to become.
Yes.
God bless everybody.